Let's talk about a crucial aspect of car insurance that often gets overlooked, but it can be a lifesaver for you if you've been involved in an accident where you suffered significant injuries. There's a type of insurance coverage called uninsured motorist or coverage. So what is that exactly? Well, coverage is an add-on to your own auto policy that protects you if you're involved in an accident caused by another driver who either has no insurance at all or doesn't have enough insurance to cover the damages that you suffered in that accident. These are damages like medical bills or lost wages, pain and suffering, future medical bills, all the damages you can get in an accident. And, given this is a shocking statistic that about 12% of drivers in Georgia are driving around out there with no insurance coverage. So that's really, really important, and another reason for really looking at uninsured motorists on your own policy, and we'll talk about how that works. So how does a coverage work in the context of a personal injury claim? So let's say that you're in an accident where the at-fault driver either doesn't have any insurance at all or their insurance is insufficient to cover your damages. Take the example where maybe an at-fault driver has the state minimum liability coverage of $25,000, but your damages that you suffered from the accident total maybe $60,000. Your claim might be worth around $60,000. What happens then? Well, this is where the coverage kicks in. So when you see this coverage listed on your policy, it's a really good thing. And the covers both common instances of covering you where there's not enough insurance and where there's no insurance on the other side. So in my example earlier, you would have your attorney obtain the full liability limits of $25,000 that the at-fault party had, and then you would attain the remaining $40,000 from the policy. So to make a claim, the first step is to simply notify your insurance company as soon as possible right after the accident. You just basically tell them the relevant details of that accident. So this is important to know in talking to your insurance agent, your auto insurance agent, when you're evaluating your coverage every year. And in Georgia, you typically have two types of coverage options. There's what's called the added on and reduced by coverage. That's what they call it. And added on coverage allows you to what's called stack your limits on top of the at-fault driver policy limits. And reduced by coverage only covers the damages up to the amount of your policy limit after subtracting the at-fault driver's coverage. It's crucial to keep in mind that insurance companies are businesses and they're looking to minimize their payouts. Even though it's your insurance company, they might not always have your best interest in mind. So that's where your lawyer comes in. It's really beneficial to consult with a personal injury attorney that's experienced in managing and dealing with claims. They can just help you navigate through all of the policies and available insurance so that you can make sure you maximize your recovery. And the insurance company's really not going to guide you in this. They're going to try to just really minimize that payout. It's important also to note that Georgia law requires insurance companies to offer coverage. That was a change in the law that happened maybe about 10 years ago, and it gives you the option of rejecting that. And this is an area where I think it's unfortunate that I don't believe enough insurance agents get enough training when they're setting up these policies on the front end. Believe me, if you let your attorney be involved in the discussion of whether or not to add to your policy, I would point out how the benefits of carrying this coverage far outweigh the very slight premium charged for it. So I strongly advise against rejecting coverage, even though it might be just a minuscule savings on the premium. I promise you it's going to be better in the long run. So you just think of it as a safety net. You hope you never have to use it, but it's really valuable if you do. So, all right, here's where I cover the most commonly raised question and concern that many people we talk to ask me. They ask me this: but Richard, if I use my uninsured motorist company coverage, won't the insurance company raise my rates? All the time. They're all worried about that. And the short answer to that is no, they can't. And I think it's a shame that insurance companies create confusion on this subject. So here's the statute. According to Georgia law, and this is codified in OCGA 33940, anybody can look this up. It says this: no insurer shall surcharge premiums or rate charged on a policy as a result of the insured's person's involvement in a multi-vehicle accident when such person was not at fault in the accident. So, that's very important. All right, to wrap things up, using your uninsured motorist coverage in Georgia involves just a few key steps. You need to notify your insurer promptly, just gather all the necessary evidence you got there, and consider legal help to navigate through these complexities of your claim. And by being proactive and understanding how all this coverage works, you can better protect yourself and your family in the unfortunate event that an accident with an uninsured or underinsured driver ever happens.